Hey beautiful one, welcome to Our Story Got Melody. On this episode of Our Story Got Melody, I want to share with you some lessons from a rubber dinky. This, for some of you, you call it a flip-flop, but in Guyana, we call this a rubber dinky. You know, sometimes we say about life doesn't come with a manual. How am I supposed to know how to live life if it doesn't come with a manual? But life comes with a manual. And the manual is in the lessons that we learned in our childhood. So this is a rubber dinky, all right? And I want to use it as the metaphor to talk about some of the things that we will experience in life. When we get our first rubber dinky, sometimes it is thin like this, or sometimes we used to have the really thick ones with the three color on this part of it. You remember those? It used to have like three colors on this side and three colors, and this part used to be really thick. That's a different kind of rubber dinky to this thin one. The first thing is, in life, we have to know exactly what we're dealing with. You have to know if what you're dealing with, it comes thin or it comes thick. Know the issue. Know what it is that you're faced with. That's the first thing. Another thing about a rubber dinky is that as you wear it, you will start to see the wearing showing on it. You see that? It will start to take the shape of whoever is wearing it. It will start to favor, okay, your feet. Where the bend is, the shape of your foot will actually fall into the rubber dinky. Now, that is life. As you experience things, we become comfortable. We become comfortable with whatever it is that life is giving us. And we just, we just go with it. The next thing you will start seeing is, can you see the cracks? You see those cracks there? These are the first signs of issues and problems. Sometimes we see these cracks in our relationship. We see the cracks in our health. We see the cracks in all the areas of our lives, but we're thinking, I don't want to face it right now. I don't want to deal with this right now. And it keeps cracking and it keeps cracking and it keeps cracking and it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. What I want to say to you is, when your rubber dinky is at this stage, you can do something about it. When you have a problem and you start seeing the first cracks, do not ignore the cracks. Do not ignore these first signs that something is going wrong. Deal with it now. That is why we say also, a stitch in time saves 9. Okay, so deal with it when you start seeing these early signs that things are not going well. Don't wait until this happens. Now, when this happens, this is not the end of the world. Some people, when this happens to them in their rubber dinky and in life, they choose to give up. They're saying, both Ghana falls. There is no way I can mend this. I can put it back. There are other people who will decide that, okay, I am not even going to deal with it. I will just take it. I will just put it back in there like that. I will force it in and I will keep behaving as if there is no issue. And guess what? As soon as you put a little pressure, you put your foot in the rubber dinky and you apply a little pressure, the next thing you see is that it bursts again. This is saying, whatever the issue is, you cannot just believe after you've gone through this. Look, there are cracks there. This will not be the same again. Do not push your head down in the sand and think that, okay, it's not a big deal. I'm just going to live with it. And there are many people, you're sitting there, you know yourself, and you're living with the burst rubber dinky, and you're not facing it. All you're doing, every time it flares up, every time it becomes a problem, you just stick it in back. But I want to show you the way we deal with a burst rubber dinky that I think Is the way we should deal with problems in life. That's what I love so much about our culture. We have so many beautiful lessons that we can learn, even from a simple rubber dinky. When life throws you a burst rubber dinky, you look around and you realize I'm having an issue. There is something that's not happening. The first thing you do is turn it over. You have to be willing to examine the place of your problem. You have to be willing to really make yourself vulnerable and expose whatever is not working for you. You have to be willing to do that. Now, when you turn it over, this is about exposure. This is about showing a part of you perhaps that you don't want the world to see, that you don't want people to know about. You prefer them to see this side of you where everything looks intact and nothing is wrong with you. But when you're having issues with the person or the people you're having those issues with, you have to be willing to turn over your rubber dinky. And you have to decide that, you know what? This is not the solution anymore. This is not working. If you can look at your issue and you can say, you know what? Just pushing this in there is not working. Let's see if we can grab a pin. Yes, grab a pin and pierce it through the issue. Sometimes we're not willing to go that way. We're not willing to grab that pin and to pierce through exactly what it is that is causing that issue, that problem. It could be with your health. It could be with your finances. It could be with your relationship. It could be that you have a problem with literacy. Perhaps you can't read well, but you have been pushing it aside, not being willing to face it because you're thinking that it's hopeless. One of the things that I've learned from fixing a rubber dinky slipper is that nothing is hopeless. If you have a pin or a nail, you could solve it. You could solve whatever the problem is. The next thing is you have what it takes. There is nothing that will face you in life that you cannot pierce with the right instrument. I want you to understand that. From fixing a rubber dinky in our childhood, we got an opportunity to learn that whatever circumstance, whatever setback, whatever hindrance comes our way, if we're willing to really turn it over, to really examine the place of issue, to really look at the problem and decide that, you know what, I'm ready to fix this. I am ready to change this reality. I am no longer going to sit down and wear this as if all is okay. I'm going to do what it takes. I don't know what the issue is you're facing in your burst rubber dinky, which is the metaphor for life. I don't know what's happening with you. I don't know what is it that you have been covering up all the time, thinking that, you know what, I'm just going to push that and it's going to be okay. I want you to know that one, you can turn it around and you can face the deep issue, the one that you have been putting off, procrastinating because you didn't want to face it. I want you to know that you can face it. I want you to know too that you have whatever it takes to solve it. Go back to your childhood. It didn't matter how thin or thick the rubber dinky was. It didn't matter how thin or thick the slippers was. When there was a problem, you dealt with it. You know, when we wore the thin rubber dinky to the place where this part become worn out and we started feeling the bricks under our feet, we started feeling the cracks under our feet as we walked, we knew that it was time to do something. What cracks are you feeling as you walk along in life? What is shaking? What is shifting? And you're not dealing with it. I say to you today, deal with the issues of your burst rubber dinky. I know you will say life doesn't come with a manual, but our childhood offers us a multitude of manuals that we can look at and garner lessons from for our journey. And as you face your day today, and you think about what I've just said about a burst rubber dinky, I want to remind you of a few things. Remember, what rain can't full, Jew can't full. Remember, not take shame face and shake Kokobe man on. Remember, not hang your hat where your hand can't reach. And remember, believe kill and believe cure. Have a great day. Bye.